Hello everyone, you're watching the channel Stories of Our Life. Friends, make yourselves comfortable. I wish you to truly enjoy listening to this life story.
Autumn smells like ruddy pancakes with a crispy edge. Only Grandma Mia used to make these ones. Lily remembered them. She often remembered how she and her mother come to Grandma's house on September weekends, digging potatoes, and the old lady baked pancakes. There was always a whole mountain of them on the table. "Oh, my girls," Grandma Mia fussed, "wash your hands and let's go to the birch for lunch." Under the birch is a special place in the yard. There stood a table and benches. In the spring, summer, and fall, if the weather permitted, they had lunch there. Grandfather John planted this birch more than half a century ago. He planted it, but he soon died. Mia was left alone with two daughters. But she was able to raise them with dignity. Ruby worked in town as a doctor, Betty as a teacher in the community center. Ruby didn't visit her mother very often, but Betty and Lily was a frequent visitor. They take their mugs and plates and go outside and drink tea under a birch tree, as John used to next to Mia, the whole family together, just the older daughter is not there. But what can you do? She was always busy. Lily loved to eat outside. If she had her way, she would have slept under that birch tree. And pancakes are especially delicious outdoors, and unforgettable in the fall. Lily eats pancakes with strawberry jam, while she watches the snow-white clouds drift across the sky through the golden crown of the birch tree. The sky is blue, and the sun is warm and shining. Next to it, a branch of apple tree hangs full of big sprouts. They smell sweet and fragrant, alluring. Lily picks a branch and ripe fruits fly at her feet. Her grandmother scolds kindly, "Why do you spoil them? You'd better eat pancakes." Lily obediently begins to chew, and Mom and Grandma share the latest news. Talking by the birch tree with pancakes is their family ritual. And the analogy, fall means it's time to bake pancakes. Grandma Mia died a long time ago. Gone to eternity to her John. Betty, Lily's mother, sold the house in the village. Lily was 12 years old at the time. How she cried then. Worried about the birch tree. Who would listen to her seriously? Mom and Aunt Ruby split the money, forgot about the parental home. Lily was only who was left with the memories of those warm, autumn gatherings with my grandmother under the birch. Lily inherited the ability to cook from her grandmother. She baked, boiled, and fried. The girl dreamed of going to a culinary college. However, her mother immediately ruled out the idea. "It is not enough that the daughter of a teacher of the highest category became a cook," scolded Betty. "Go to medical school or become a lawyer. Better yet, become a psychologist. Correctional psychologists are especially in demand these days." "I don't want to be a psychologist," answered Lily languidly, "it's a boring job." "Is standing at the stove a holiday?" asked Betty with a laugh. In general, she convinced her daughter. After school, Lily entered the faculty of psychology at one of the pedagogical universities. The girl was glad, but not that she got in, but that she would be away from her mother's excessive care. She did well at school, lived in a dormitory. The girls, roommates, quickly realized that Lily was a good cook. She liked to cook all sorts of delicious dishes for the girls. They loved all of her masterpieces, especially the pancakes. Lily remembered how her grandmother made them and tried to bake them the same way. When you cook, you are sure to taste what you get. So Lily soon began to gain weight little by little on her dishes. Maybe somewhere students do live are hungry, but it was not about their room. All the girls were given food by their parents and helped with money. "That's it," Betty laughed when her daughter came to visit her for the vacations. "Other parents have skinny students, but you're not. Good for you." It was only as time passed that Lily began to notice she was getting too fat. She began restricting herself, cooking less calorie-dense meals, but it was no use. The weight rapidly increased. Then she went to the doctor, underwent many tests and examinations. As a result, the doctor didn't find anything out. He gave her a lecture about healthy eating. Where else is there to become healthier? Besides that, she still has to study, and when Lily prepares for the session and starts to get nervous, she begins to eat even more. By the 5th year, at 160 centimeters tall, she weighed 95 kilograms. Betty was no longer happy for her daughter, carefully talked about healthy eating and exercise, too. Lily listened to her mother, chewing something in parallel, and pretended to agree with her. She was sure that after graduation she would be able to discipline herself. In the meantime, she could treat herself to something tasty from time to time. Her aunt, a female doctor, was also involved in the problem. Once again, Lily began to undergo examinations. It's okay, Ruby gave a lot of recommendations and not at all doctors' advice, to fall in love. When you experience love, you want to look better. There have been setbacks in their family with love. Ruby, for example, after 2 failed marriages, lived alone, with only a big cat waiting for her at home. Her mother and father divorced when Lily was 5 years old. It wasn't a good divorce, with swearing and even fighting. Her father cheated on her and drank a lot. As a result, Betty couldn't stand it. She kicked her husband out one day, and her father tried to make excuses and beat Betty. But she was not timid and responded to him. Then he disappeared and never appeared in Betty and her daughter's lives again. Lily realized for the rest of her life, men only made noise, screaming and trouble. So she paid no attention to guys. If it filled her with feelings, maybe she would reconsider her attitude toward love. But so far no such situations had occurred. Over time, she became comfortable with her excess weight, applying professional knowledge. You have to love yourself. Yes, yourself first and foremost, and who doesn't like it, their problems, Lily said. But one day that all changed. It happened while Lily was working at a social center for troubled teens. She was renting a room from an old lady, and everything was going smoothly in her life. But then one day suddenly her landlady's daughter Grace came to visit. She was slim and trim and didn't look at all like she was in her 40s. Grace enthusiastically began to talk about some miracle-working shakes, bars, and elixirs of eternal youth. You may not believe me, but I used to cheerfully weigh 120 pounds, Grace said, and now, look, I'm not even 60 pounds. Wow, Lily nodded, chewing on her pie. That's pretty great. And the cool thing is that I eat absolutely everything. Grace didn't calm down, and the weight isn't going up. You want to make me buy these wonderful remedies? Grinned Lily, it won't work. I've already taken all sorts of supplements, it doesn't help, and I went to the gym, I can't, it's hard. It's hard for you because you're overweight, Grace kept up, you try it, and then we'll join a fitness class and you'll be slim in no time. I'm fine as I am, Lily shrugged. You feel good now, but in 10 or 20 years you'll be crying. Your whole body will ache from all the weight you have to carry. It can cause arthritis. And it seems as if Lily knew all this already, and her aunt told her this, but she realized that she would not leave Grace alone. She decided to agree and try her well-publicized remedies. First one pill, then some kind of elixir. After a month, Lily realized that she had lost at least 10 pounds without too much effort. It was still possible to eat pies and not look longingly at the arrow of the scale. Now this ruthless device only pleased our heroine. Lily no longer cared that she spent almost her entire salary on those very funds. She felt beautiful for the first time in her life, and Grace only further motivated her to get better. One day Lily decided to join a fitness club. That's where she met Noah. He was her trainer, a calm, trim, smiling man. Lily ran to the gym after work with one goal in mind, to see him. One day Noah offered to walk her out after practice. Lily was very happy. She realized that happiness was not about delicious tea and pies, but about walking next to Noah. She thought he was practically God when he gently held her hand in his. Their romance was a real turning point in Lily's mind. She now knew what it meant to love. That feeling when she herself wanted to flutter like a butterfly. But one day it was over. Lily arrived early for practice and saw her lover making out with the very Grace. A shocked Lily dragged Grace by the hair, slapped Noah in the face, and ran away in tears. Then she roared all night in her rented room. In the morning, the property owner asked her to move out. "Lily, I have nothing against you, but I care about my daughter," Harriet explained. "Grace called me yesterday, said you hit her, asked me to kick you out. What did you two have a disagreement about? A man or something?" Lily only nodded in response. There's no way she's settling down. She's almost 40 and still acting like a girl. But you're not acting right either, why are you waving your fists? Harriet's grandmother looked at her reproachfully. "And don't answer, move out, baby. I will not quarrel with my daughter because of you, even though she is not a gift from me." Harriet, a good old lady, gave her a goodbye address where Lily could rent a room. So she did. It was a dorm room. It was even better, Lily was her own mistress there. Only she was always haunted by thoughts of Noah's betrayal. At night Lily cried and suffered, and in the morning she went to work with a fake smile. There was a constant restlessness in her soul. Lily didn't even notice how she began to eat her grief with pastries, cakes, and sausages. She hated Grace's magic pills and threw them away. Anyway, after a couple of months, Lily was back to her former size and even bigger. "The hell with it," she said angrily, looking at herself in the mirror. "I lived somehow before. Only it was not possible to live like before." She thought about Noah all the time, even forgetting all her rules of decency and pride, as well as psychological techniques, tried to call him several times, but he never answered her. Once she even met him on the street with a girl she didn't know. Noah just looked mockingly at Lily, whispered something to his girlfriend, and, laughing out loud, they walked on. Lily was shocked and could not move. She heard what the girl had said, and was hurt by her words. How could someone who was the whole world to her make fun of her? Aunt Ruby came to visit once, looked at her niece, and carefully found out why she had started to get fat again. "Are you crazy?" She scolded me when she found out that she was taking Lily. "These pills can give you liver and kidney problems. Don't do it again." "I won't," Lily replied obediently. "I don't care anymore, nobody needs me." "Yeah, you don't," said Ruby indignantly. "And mother, and me? There will still be love in your life, you just have to believe in yourself." "Why am I telling you, a certified psychologist, about this?" "To be honest, Aunt, I hate my profession more than anything else," admitted Lily. "That's how to do others. I can advise, direct, and myself I do not understand anything in my life. You, dear niece, give it up. Stop being sad. Listen, I have an idea. You need to fall in love with someone urgently. Let the guy follow you around, worry about you. And you'll wonder if you need him." "Dreams," Lily grinned, but her aunt still heeded her words. "After all, you might as well try it," Lily decided then. Well, in this case the old, tried and true way might help her. Yes, she hadn't believed in love before, and then, on the contrary, she had become too fond of it. And now she just needed to believe, once again, that someone could like her. And she didn't even have to think about the fact that the scales were showing 90.5 again. But where to look for heroes? There certainly weren't any at their social center. There were only young bullies with hysterical mothers. If any men show up, it's the fathers of these boys, and they don't fit Lily. They are older and obviously married. She stumbled across an online dating site one day and thought, why not? Especially since a photo can be retouched a bit. So she made herself a little thinner in the photo and became a very attractive plus-size girl, but not overdone. And a lot of offers started pouring in. The correspondence began. Lily, walking home from work in the evening, as if she were flying to see who had written to her. But all these men from the site were probably just amusing her. She understood that guys were probably just having fun that way. Her heart was silent, and also a little sad, remembering about Noah. Lily was already thinking of stopping sitting on this dating site, but one day a young man wrote to her. She liked him immediately in the photo. Lily didn't even think it could be photoshopped. There he was, muscular and tanned, almost like Noah, and even better. The guy's name was Harry, and he wrote to Lily about simple things, about nature, about the weather, about the books he'd read. The girl realized he wasn't stupid, but he didn't ask her out. Lily wondered why he didn't. Other guys immediately call me to celebrate their wedding night. This one doesn't say a word. He's probably modest. She already wanted to take the initiative first. But one day Harry invited her to meet him in the park. Lily was very nervous. It is one thing to flirt in the virtual world, and another thing to meet in person. All at once everything would be revealed, this handsome man would see that Lily was not as in the picture and laugh at her. What if he likes me, the girl thought with a smile, looking at her reflection in the mirror. She pulled out her highest-heeled shoes, pulled out her slimming underwear, put on makeup, styled her hair. Wasn't she beautiful? And the extra weight hardly spoiled her. Lily walked to the park in the full confidence that she was well prepared for her first date. It was a summer evening, almost sunset. It was very hot. Lily nervously brushed drops of sweat from her forehead, but it was more from excitement than from the stuffiness. But where was her prince? The park wasn't crowded, just a few moms walking with their babies, and a few teenagers in love taking a stroll. And Harry said he would wait for her on the bench by the fountain. All the benches were empty. And only one had a wheelchair and a young man sitting in it, whom Lily couldn't even see from a distance. Why should she? It wasn't Harry. Lily decided to walk closer to the fountain and wait for the guy. He must be late. It's not good, of course, to keep yourself waiting. For 10 minutes Lily would wait, and then she would block this Harry from the sight. The girl walked over to the bench and headed for the fountain. Lily, the guy in the wheelchair, called out to her. She turned around in surprise, their eyes meeting. It was the same Harry. Yes, the photo on the website matched, but there was not a word about the disability. You? Confused Lily, unexpectedly. Why? She blushed. It was embarrassing to ask why he was in a wheelchair. It wasn't fair of him. About her little lie, she thought no more. Harry clearly outdid her on this point. You want to ask me why I didn't write you that I was disabled? Harry smiled sadly, and I didn't have the guts. And you, even better than in the picture. Right, said Lily grudgingly, I don't know if I'm better. I'm obviously fatter in real life. No, you don't. You look wonderful, Lily. Can I invite you to a cafe? There's a summer terrace over there. We'll have some ice cream. I'll explain everything to you. This is for you, and Harry handed her 5 lovely red roses. The girl thanked him for the flowers and shrugged. She didn't mind going to the cafe. Seeing Harry, she stopped feeling insecure. Although, it was embarrassing to admit it, even to herself. Her problems suddenly seemed so insignificant compared to Harry's. She'd been worried before about how the young man would take her, but it turned out that he was much more worried. They headed to the cafe. Harry rode in a wheelchair and Lily next to him. They moved in silence because they were both confused. Once seated at a table, they ordered and were silent again. The pause lingered. So you work as a psychologist? Harry was the first to speak. Yes, at the social center, Lily nodded, and you don't work? Why not? I do, Harry smiled, but remotely. You understand, in my position it's hardly possible otherwise. I'm a programmer. I see, I'm sorry. Did you have it from birth? Lily blushed and immediately wondered why she was asking such personal questions. No, Harry shook his head, it's a different case here. I'll tell you my story. Harry grew up in a wealthy family. He lived with his parents in the capital, studied at a prestigious technical college, and then he met Lily. But another. Beautiful, cheerful, she immediately captured the guy's heart. The girl was in the capital on a tourist trip. She worked somewhere in the administration of her hometown. Harry fell in love. And, as soon as he got his degree, he moved here immediately, although his parents were against it. They never saw Lily, because their son never got to meet her. They only knew about her from his stories, and for some reason they took Harry's love story negatively. And when he left the capital, all hell broke loose. His father called, threatening to disinherit him. Mom just cried. Harry wouldn't listen to his parents. He began to live together with Lily. Harry's father, though angry at his son, transferred money for him to buy an apartment in the city. Harry took a job at a large company as a programmer. With Lily they thought about getting married, planned to go to the capital and meet Harry's parents. But all plans were spoiled by a car accident. Lily was driving, she was very unsteady, but that night she asked Harry to give her a seat at the wheel. There was a terrible accident at the first intersection. Nothing terrible happened to her, but Harry was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Lily came to him at first, crying, and Harry, already conscious, reassured her. "Harry, why do you say you won't report me?" she asked Lily once, wiping away her tears. "Because you were driving, it wasn't my fault." The boy was shocked by these words. He remembered exactly who was driving the car. But the next day a police officer came and confirmed that Harry was in the driver's seat. The guy realized that Lily had dragged him to the wheel right after the accident. That is, she was thinking about how to make the situation profitable only for herself. But Harry said nothing to the policeman. He agreed that he was driving, and Lily never came to the hospital again or answered the phone. The doctors said he had a serious injury. His parents wanted to take him home, but Harry disagreed. "How will you?" his mother worried. "Who will help you? I've got work and Lily here." "Where on earth is your Lily?" exclaimed father furiously. "I don't see her at the sick man's bedside." "She's on an urgent business trip," Harry replied. He could not admit to his parents that his beloved girl had been so mean to him. After all, they had been against their relationship right away, and now they would start feeling sorry for him. But he did not want to be pitied. He convinced his parents he could do it on his own. They left. When their son was discharged from the hospital, they hired a nurse for him. Harry's mother still comes several times a month, calling him to the capital. But Harry says that Lily is waiting for him in the city, who will be back very soon. He is ashamed to say that his beloved has already married another man. But Harry did not want to return to the capital as an invalid. He had already recovered from his injury, but his legs still would not listen to him. Doctors say it might get better, but it takes time. Harry goes to treatments, gets tests, and hopes. So far, just hope. His employers have gone out of their way to move him to a remote work format. "And my parents are coming soon, they want me to present Lily to them. She can't be on a business trip forever," Harry explained, ending his story. "So I thought to find a girl named Lily and ask her to be my bride for a while. Just to my parents, no strings attached." "Why would you do that?" Lily looked at him with incomprehension. "It's embarrassing to admit you made a mistake. But this is life, and these are your parents. They'll understand and they'll always be on your side. And that Lily should be tried. Why didn't you say anything to the police?" "Because I loved her and I think I do now. That's the kind of fool I am. I couldn't do that to her. But she could. Let it be on her conscience. But I still don't understand why you're keeping this from your parents. Her father will find her right away through her connections and get to the truth. He'll find out who was driving then, and Lily will be convicted. And rightly so." "Okay, I'm sorry." Harry shook his head. "I probably shouldn't have told you that, forget it. Let's just eat ice cream." They ate the ice cream in silence and each thought about something else. Harry was thinking about having to confess everything to his father after all, but he would demand that his ex-girlfriend not be found. There was a lot of good between them. And Lily wondered to herself. What a weirdo that Harry was. She kept thinking it was fluttering with love, and now she found out about a near-death experience. She had disabled him, and he was making excuses for her. A freak. Lily began to feel sorry for this Harry. The guy is uncomfortable in that wheelchair as it is. He might be living with thoughts of his ex and still hoping for something. Yes, finding out his father would shatter that illusion, and there's no telling how it would then affect Harry. You know what, Harry, Lily suddenly broke the silence, I'll help you. Just promise me that you will think as little as possible about the other Lily. Nothing good will come of it. That's what I'm telling you as a psychologist. Thank you, Harry smiled appreciatively, I'll try. By the way, I'll pay you. Oh, no, laughed Lily, I don't need money for a case like that. I just wondered what you'd do. Would your parents really believe any of this? They will. They've always been busy with work, business, themselves, to be honest, and I just had to live up to expectations. And I didn't, fell in love with the wrong one, left. But you understand that can't go on indefinitely. I understand, but for now I want them to see that my Lily is with me. Lily only shrugged her shoulders. She thought this guy was crazy, but still decided to help him. Especially, as she realized, her parents were just coming and going back. They talked over the details and parted ways. Lily walked out of the park impressed by the meeting. Amazing man this Harry. Loves the one who brought him so much pain. He's still making excuses to his parents. Okay, stop. Lily stopped on the sidewalk. What if her father found out who was driving the car? Then she would be blamed. That's ridiculous. Lily doesn't even have a driver's license. Okay, then we'll work it out. Lily waved her hand, she'd already promised Harry. Lily listened to herself in surprise. Only now did she realize that she hadn't mentioned Noah once all evening, and that was an accomplishment. Lily had already thought with a chuckle about her recent suffering. Now they seemed insignificant to her. Yes, her boyfriend had left her, but everyone was alive and well. Harry, on the other hand, was much less fortunate. They had arranged for Lily to come to Harry. The girl agreed to the venture. Of course, it was absurd to go to a guy she didn't know, but Lily was sure nothing bad would happen to her. It was a day off, and she was already standing outside a brand new building in the morning. Good job on that, Harry, she even whistled, wondering how much apartments in a house like this cost. A skinny old woman opened the door to her. Are you Lily? She looked sternly at the girl. Lily nodded shyly in response. Harry is waiting for you, the woman announced and took a step to the side, letting her into the hallway. The girl entered. She saw a posh apartment with a good renovation and expensive furniture. Everything here suggested that the owner didn't need anything. Although, no, he did need some involvement and care. And what's the use of such wealth when you're an invalid and in love with some bitch? Lily pondered, looking at the picture on the wall, in a gold frame. Oh, Lily, she heard Harry's voice behind her, come in. The guy rode his wheelchair out of the living room. Lily blushed slightly when she saw him, not sure why. Would you like some tea? The older woman asked. Yes, Harry smiled. Lily, by the way, I'd like you to meet her. This is my assistant, Sophia, and this is my Lily. I get it, and the woman headed into the kitchen. She's my stern one, Harry winked and added in a whisper, Mom picked her up for me. She can't calm down, worries about how I'm doing here. Parents care so much, smiled Lily, my mom's always trying to give me advice, too, until now. It's like I'm a child. They walked to the kitchen, Sophia had already brewed tea, put out cookies, and jam. Lily was eating and Harry was drinking tea. Sophia tactfully left. Thank you, Lily smiled at him, delicious jam and cookies. But honestly, I'm used to a different kind of tea. What kind? The boy tensed. He wondered if Lily had bad habits he hadn't thought of. There should be pies or pancakes for tea. Have you had pancakes lately? The girl asked with a smile. I forgot already, he shrugged. When I was a kid my mother was always at work, only on weekends she would cook something. Otherwise, I often ate at the cafe. Cafe, Lily was surprised, now we'll make a real pancake house. Where do you have the flour, the milk, the sugar? Look over there, Harry replied confusedly, pointing toward the refrigerator. Lily took his words as permission, and soon the aroma of the first pancake frying in the thick pan wafted through the kitchen. Sophia peeked into the kitchen. "Harry, what's going on here?" she inquired, her lips pressed together. "We're making pancakes," Lily laughed, answering for Harry, "Join us. The first batch will be ready soon." "No, I'm sorry, I have things to do. Harry, if you'll excuse me, I'll be going." Harry nodded back at her. He was a little shocked at Lily's assertiveness in settling in with him so quickly. Then again, what did he want? He'd asked for it himself, so Lily was getting into the role of a loving and caring woman. "How well you're doing," he remarked as he watched Lily flip pancakes in a pan. "It's a matter of practice," Lily responded cheerfully. "My grandmother taught me as a child." She told Harry about Mia's grandmother, about her mother, who still worked at the school and desperately called her daughter to her native land, and she resisted it. Going to her mother meant continuing to live up to her wishes. It was bad enough that Lily had graduated from a university she didn't love and wasn't working where she wanted to. "What's stopping you from dropping everything and doing what you love?" queried Harry. "Go to a cook's course, and that's where things will happen the way they should." "I can't," Lily smiled sadly. "Why not? Can't you see what I'm like? If I cook professionally, I won't even get in the door." "Nonsense, you're not fat at all. You're just lush." "That's what they call it now," Lily grinned. "Okay, try the pancakes." They ate with gusto, chatted about trivia, and later went downstairs for a walk. Harry steered his stroller by himself, and Lily walked beside him. It was a summer, warm day. They decided to go down to the boardwalk, which was nearby. There was only one ramp, and they had to walk around before they could get down to the water. They walked to the parapet and both of them, with their heads down, looked out at the river. Each was thinking about his own thing. Lily was no longer suffering from her unhappy love. Recent events had somehow changed her. Harry's words stuck in her head. "What's stopping you from dropping everything and doing what you love?" Maybe he's right. And Harry thought of his Lily. How was she now? Probably happy and having a good time. At least let someone live and be happy. But how could she do this to him? He did not understand it. Suddenly a loud, female laugh was heard next to them. Harry and Lily turned their heads at the same time. A tall, trim-looking man in his 40s, and an attractive, slender blonde walking past them. When Harry saw her, he turned pale. The blonde looked at him, too, froze for a second, and then clutched at her companion's arm. "Darling, let's get out of here. I'm feeling a little chilly," she said crankily. "Cold?" The man was surprised. "It's hot outside. You're the one who wanted to come here. Come on, let's go." Yes, we still have to stop at the mall. Remember, I looked for a cute dress in one of the boutiques there," she quickly began to say. "I'll be simply irresistible in it." The man nodded obediently in response, and they walked up the stairs, with Harry staring at their backs. "What's the matter with you?" wondered Lily. "You don't look recognized." "That was my Lily," Harry muttered quietly. "So that's what she is," Lily stretched out, gazing appreciatively at the receding figure. "Yes, beautiful. Beautiful and mean," Lily replied sharply, "and she's also a criminal. How can you even think of her?" Harry only lowered his head and rolled toward the ramp. Lily, realizing that she had hurt Harry's feelings, followed. And really, why was she prying into his soul? He's not a kid, he'll figure it out. They were silent until they got home, and then Lily helped Harry up, though he insisted he could do it himself. "I feel better when I know you're definitely home by now," Lily told him and rolled the stroller into the elevator. And when they were at the apartment, she stopped. "So, goodbye. When your parents get together to visit, give me a heads up. I'll come over to your place. Is it a deal?" "Deal," Harry only uttered, as at that moment the doors of the second elevator opened noisily. And out stepped a middle-aged man in an expensive suit and a woman in her 40s in a fine, neat dress. "Mom, Dad," Harry exclaimed when he saw them, "have you arrived? Why didn't you give us any notice?" What do you want us to do now? Drive back. The man smiled wearily. Let us rest from the road. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. Harry came to his senses. Meet. And this is my Lily. Lily, and these are my parents, Florence and Joseph. Lily, the parents said, almost in unison, and stared at the girl. Yes, I'm Lily, she blushed and looked at Harry in confusion. Now what to do? All that was left to do was improvise. At the apartment, Lily went first to the kitchen while Harry and her parents talked in the room. Here she already looked around more carefully. There are still pancakes. Okay, I'm going to make some cutlets now, the stuffing is ready. Lucky me. And I'll make mashed potatoes, too. It'll be easy, but delicious. Soon Florence and Joseph came into the kitchen. It smells so good in here, Joseph sniffed and swallowed his saliva. Wash your hands, it'll be ready soon, Lily responded cheerfully. While her parents obediently left for the bathroom, Harry drove up to her. Thank you, you're handling your new role, he whispered. Yeah, said Lily, I didn't think I'd have to do comedy tonight. All right, I agreed to it myself. Soon they all had a delicious lunch together in the kitchen. Lily then quickly cleared the table and got ready to leave. Shall I go? She asked hesitantly. I have to go now. Don't you live here? Joseph looked at the girl questioningly. And Lily and I decided that we wouldn't live together until after we were married, Harry answered for her. What a conscious relationship you have, replied Joseph, but I think it would be easier for you if Lily were around. And she will almost always be around now, smiled Harry, we've already applied for the marriage registration. There's going to be a wedding in a month. Wow, my mother gasped, and there won't be any more business trips, bride? Joseph looked at Lily intently. There won't be, Lily replied, and after saying goodbye to her parents, she kissed Harry on the cheek. Then she hopped out of the apartment. At last this circus was over. She didn't think it would be so hard to lie. Yeah, this isn't how I pictured your girlfriend, Florence said as the door closed behind Lily. Yeah, just the size of a suggestible woman, Joseph grinned. Joseph, Florence looked at her husband disapprovingly, why so rude? A big girl, of course. It's understandable, though. She cooks well. Only Harry is thin for her. Also, I don't know why we're hiring a housekeeper for you then? You have such a wonderful hostess now. And me, Daddy, I still have to get on my feet. And you don't need extra pounds for that, replied Harry, and let Sophia work for now. Lily can't always come. She's working at the social center now. You'd better tell me, why did you come so suddenly? Daddy has business in this town, Florence took her son by the hand, and we also wanted to take you with us, Harry. You should go to the capital. The doctors are better there, and we're close by. I'm getting married, Mother. Don't you worry, the doctors here aren't bad either, and Lily's with me now. I can see that Lily is your good girl. Good for her, she came back from her business trip to you. Didn't quit. Yes, Lily is good, Harry answered her quietly. Father, on the other hand, was silent. He was thinking about something of his own. In the evening, Harry texted Lily that he was expecting her on Sunday. We must pretend to be a happy couple for one more day. And then he'll think of something, say they had a fight. How much he loves that Lily of his, that he's willing to lie to the last, grinned Lily, but she agreed to come anyway. All day she was with Harry and his parents. Together with Florence, they cooked dinner and chatted. Lily liked this sophisticated, sweet woman. She inwardly marveled. How beautiful she was. No, her mother is nice too, pretty, not silly. But Florence is just adorable. Harry was lucky to have a mother. But she felt uncomfortable around Joseph. He kept asking her about her work and family, and just nodded as she answered. On Monday her parents left. In the evening Lily called Harry. So, fiancé, is it over? She asked with a smile. Yes. Game over, he laughed, and then he was quiet and added, but we can still keep in touch, just as friends. I liked it, you're a good conversationalist and you're such a great cook. How sly you are, grinned Lily. Was that the last thing you were most interested in? No, Harry was embarrassed. I said that for the sake of argument. All right, you talked me into it, of course we'll mingle. Especially since I have an idea. And what was it? Lily did not say. The fact was that their social center had a disability rehabilitation department, and a specialist, a former chiropractor, worked there. He sometimes took on difficult cases, but unofficially, since he didn't have the proper certificates. But the people who went to him just prayed for him. He was able to lift many people out of their wheelchairs. So Lily decided to talk to him about Harry. Austin, see the boy. He'll do, I think, Lily pleaded with him. It's not hopeless. It's been a few months since the injury. The doctors say maybe he'll get up, maybe not. You say he's from the capital? So why doesn't he go there? He'll get help there for sure, the elderly doctor shook his head. But you are helping. And he's not going to the capital because he doesn't want to look weak in front of his parents. Eventually Austin agreed to see the patient. Harry didn't mind either, and soon the doctor began to visit the boy. He performed various manipulations with him and gave massages. Lily and Harry completely forgot about the made-up wedding. But Florence called and said she wanted to come over early to take care of the wedding preparations. Oh, Mom, don't, Harry faltered, we don't have time to have a wedding right now. Why? Worried Florence, did you have a fight with Lily? No, it's just that she found me a wonderful doctor. I'm studying with him right now. Mom, I think I'll be able to stand up on my own soon. That's when we'll think about getting married, Harry slyly told his mother. No wedding was planned, and Lily he perceived as a good friend. But she fell in love with the guy for real. Lily had already forgotten about her Noah. She would fall asleep thinking of Harry and wake up thinking of him. But she was afraid to tell him how she felt, because she didn't want to hear the stock phrase, let's stay friends. She wanted to be closer to him than just a friend. For the first time in her life, Lily understood what love was. Yes, she had studied philosophy, at university, she had read essays on the subject. But it was all theory. Only now did she fully understand that to love was to give, not to take. Her love was expressed in the daily care of Harry. From work, she hurried to him. Then Lily would meet Austin, and while the doctor took care of Harry, she would cook something delicious in the kitchen. Then they chatted amicably with Harry. Yes, he probably considers her only a friend. One day Sophia, who now came in less and less often in the mornings, came in late. She saw Lily and smiled. Girl, I'm so grateful to you. I thought Harry could never get up. He was so sullen, always in his thoughts. But with your arrival, everything has changed. Thank you, the woman said, shook Lily's hand, and left the apartment. And Lily stood there smiling. Yes, everything had changed with her arrival. Not long ago, she and Harry had never even known each other, and now she couldn't imagine her life without him. Did Harry feel anything for her? Probably not. He still often thinks about something or someone. Probably about the one who is guilty of this situation. However, Lily's love is enough for the two of them, she can melt his ice and chase away his sadness. All we have to do is wait a little longer. Austin continued to work with the patient, and after a while Harry felt his legs. Lily, who had been by his side during the treatment, rejoiced as if she were getting rid of a terrible disease herself. Yes, they were going to make it. And after another week, Harry was unsure but standing on his own feet. Joyfully he and Lily went to the park. Lily, help me. I'll try to stand up, Harry ventured, I want to feel the ground beneath my feet. The girl readily stretched out her arms to help, and Harry stood up. Lily laughed, and Harry smiled. That Austin is a magician. Harry, are you walking yet? They heard someone's voice and they both turned at the sound. They saw the same blonde woman from the boardwalk. She was alone today and didn't look as happy. Harry was even a little embarrassed. "No, as you can see, there's a lot of work to do before walking," he said dryly and swayed. Lily helped him into the stroller. "Oh, who's that?" The girl looked at Lily disparagingly. "Is that your helper?" "That's my friend," Harry answered her, "and her name is Lily, too, but she, unlike you, hasn't betrayed me or set me up or abandoned me." "Oh, Harry, don't." "I'm so ashamed myself," cried the girl, "I can't remember it. I don't know what happened to me. It's as if someone else was directing me. Harry, I'm so ashamed. Let's talk." She said something else and cried. Lily looked at her. How pathetic she was. No anxiety or jealousy the girl felt, for it was just Harry's ex. Lily was sure that never again would she enter Harry's life. Now, after all, he knew what the care and love of a loved one meant. Nothing had happened between them until now, they had not even kissed once, but Harry must have guessed Lily's feelings. By the looks, by the words, by the amount of attention. Of course he guessed, and Lily believed that he felt something for her, too. How many times had she seen him stare at her, wanting to say something, but not daring? Yes, he loves her too, it's just not the time to talk frankly yet. And then this rival showed up. And is she a rival? "Harry, we need to talk to you." The blonde wiped away her tears and looked at Lily meaningfully, in private. "All right," Lily nodded calmly in response and touched Harry's arm. "I'll wait for you at the park entrance." "Yes, Lily, thank you," Harry said confusedly. Lily left the two of them alone. What they talked about, she didn't know. But soon Harry came running up to her. Lily the blonde was running fast ahead of her. Why is she acting like that, wondered Lily, looking after her. Never mind. Turns out the police finally figured it all out without my report. Anyway, they called her into the station, suspecting she was the one driving at the time. Now she's begging me not to change my statement. And what did you tell her? And I said that I understood a lot during this time and decided a lot. I won't hide anything. Good for you, rejoiced Lily. You know, I can't believe I loved her, hid her crime, forgot the pain she caused me in doing so. Yes, I did, and I wanted her to be okay, but then. Then what? Then you came into my life, Lily. Harry took her hand in his. He looked into her eyes, bottom up, sitting in his wheelchair. Lily stood beside him and couldn't take her eyes off him either. Harry, a lot of things have changed in my life, she whispered. I, despite being a psychologist, suffer from a lot of complexes myself. Fat, unnecessary, and you came along, a guy in a wheelchair, and I wanted to help you. And through helping you I realized that all my complexes are far-fetched. They were nothing compared to my real problems. With mine, smiled Harry sadly. Yes, but you don't just have them physically. You couldn't get over the one who betrayed you. Even tried to save her. It took me a long time to understand why you were doing this. And now I do. A famous psychologist said, to love is to give. To give your care, your help, your forgiveness. It's when you're ready to close your hands to someone against whom the whole world is offended, even if you yourself suffer in the process. The main thing for you will be to save him. That's love. But if your feelings are used, as happened in this case, then there is no point in giving. All the same, it will fall into an abyss of ingratitude and lies. You don't realize it right away, but with time, then the physical suffering recedes. Yes, Austin told me that all problems appear in our heads. He's right. They were quiet, holding hands, and then headed toward Harry's house. At the apartment, the young man tried to get out of his wheelchair on his own. Lily was washing her hands when she heard him shout victoriously. Lily, look, I can do it myself. The girl ran toward him and was surprised she couldn't move. Harry didn't just get up, but was able to take a couple of steps away from the stroller. He looked at her with eyes full of tears. Lily, I could do it myself, you know. The next second he couldn't hold on and would have fallen if Lily hadn't gotten there in time. The girl picked him up, hugging him tightly. Hush, she whispered, you won't fall, I'm with you. His arms wrapped around her shoulders. They stood there, embraced, and were silent. And then, all at once, they looked into each other's eyes. Harry tilted his head and their lips touched. Quiet, he muttered. Harry, I'm afraid I can't hold you, she smiled. And myself, I am a man. And slowly, holding on to the wall, he reached the bedroom. He sank heavily onto the bed. You're tired, rest, take your time, Lily spoke softly and touched his hair. Harry intercepted her hand and kissed it. I'm not tired, my darling. If it weren't for you. From there, it was all a blur. For the first time in her life, Lily was experiencing such emotions and such feelings. Someone who had been just a friend to her at first had become a whole universe. And she could no longer imagine life without him. They fell asleep in each other's arms, and in the morning Lily. After kissing her beloved, she got ready for work. See you tonight, she smiled at the door. I'll miss you, he sent her an air kiss. And I miss you already. Lily hugged her beloved again. Now that was love, not what her life had been before. But she had to go to work. All day long the smile never left Lily's face, and her colleagues remarked that she seemed to glow. Lily, aren't you like in love, said an accountant in their organization. The girl didn't answer anything, only squinted her eyes slyly. Oh, young people, the accountant sighed, the main thing is not to cry later. Lily would not listen to the old woman. She was always prying into her own business and could ruin the best mood. She was talking nonsense. Lily was sure that nothing bad would happen in her life now, because she had met true love. After the workday, the girl went to the supermarket to buy groceries. Today she planned to make a great dinner, roast chicken and make a salad with pineapples. She also bought some champagne. In anticipation of the upcoming holiday, she came out of the store, mentally having already made a menu for the evening. It was raining outside. It was a cold autumn. But it didn't matter, because the sun was shining in her soul. Humming, Lily entered the house. She stopped in front of Harry's apartment, wanted to open the door with her key, but decided to ring the bell. She really wanted Harry to open it for her himself, standing firmly on his feet. He could already, after all. Footsteps were heard from behind the door. Lily listened in amazement. Could Harry walk so confidently? He may be good, but I don't believe it. Could it be that his parents had arrived? A girl's heart felt uneasy. Yes, previously she and Harry had only pretended to be in love, and she did not care what Florence and Joseph thought of her. But now, would they accept her? They seemed to be getting along well then. She reassured herself that she was worried for nothing. Everything was going to be all right. All these thoughts flew quickly through her mind as the lock on the door was turned. And then, as the door swung open, and Lily was shocked. Standing in the doorway was another Lily, Harry's ex, a traitor, a criminal, with wet hair, with only a wide towel wrapped around her body from her clothes. Hi, she smiled, and what are you doing here to see Harry? He's asleep right now. You know, he's tired, she winked playfully at Lily and laughed happily. I can't even believe it. We're fine again. And you probably want to make dinner. His housekeeper was here this afternoon, she said you'd cook your own food tonight. The insolent girl's words seemed to slap Lily in the face. Barely restraining herself from that burst of anger, Lily replied, "You cook yourself," and threw the grocery bags at her rival's feet, then ran down the stairs without waiting for the elevator. Satisfied laughter echoed in her back. God, how disgusting. How could Harry do this to her? He'd known she was coming tonight, so he'd done it on purpose. He didn't want to talk to her. Of course, she didn't look as chic as his beautiful Lily. The comparison is not in my favor, she whispered to herself through her tears. And where are you going? You look like a pig. And she's so slim and attractive. The girl cried on the bus. What's the matter, honey? The old lady sitting next to her asked thoughtfully and pityingly stroked her on the shoulder. Calm down. I don't know what happened to you, but believe me, everything in this life passes. Any sorrow is forgotten. The main thing is to be healthy. Lily only nodded in response. The tears continued to flow. Lily was already ashamed to sit on the bus, where she attracted the attention of many people. She got off before her stop. And then she walked for over half an hour more. There were no more tears. Back in her dorm room, Lily collapsed on her bed and fell asleep. To hell with him, she whispered, falling asleep, ungrateful man. And in the morning she was awakened by a phone call. It was Harry, but she didn't answer it. He then called her several more times during the day. Lily ignored him. He was a traitor, and he was no longer in her heart. In the evening he texted, "Lily, you've got it all wrong. Nothing happened between her and me. I'll tell you everything, but a little later. I have to go to the capital right now, my mother got sick. I called her and told her not to come yet. When I come back, I'll be sure to call you. Love you." "How sneaky you are," Lily whispered as she read his long message, "and you lie." The next day, Austin stopped by Lily's office. "Lily, how long is Harry gone for? We haven't finished the course, have we? It's certainly good that he's started walking, but we need to consolidate the results." "I don't know," replied the girl as indifferently as possible, "he hasn't reported it to me, and let him think about his health himself. Don't worry, he'll find someone in his capital to go to. And I don't care, to be honest." "Is that so?" Austin sat down next to him on the table, quieted a little, then, with a sigh, added, "Let me, Lily, give you the advice of an experienced man. There are moments in life when everything seems to fall apart and nothing will ever be the same again. But it won't. Time will pass and things will get better. I understand that you had a fight with Harry, but that's okay. It seems to me that you will still make up and this misunderstanding will be a thing of the past." "And what makes you think we had a fight?" "I can tell by you." Lily said nothing, only lowered her head. Yes, she felt very bad. She never would have thought that Harry, who himself had experienced betrayal, could do that to her and go back to the one who had hurt him so much. But apparently he had, and Lily had decided that she would never call him again, much less seek a meeting to clear things up. And that evening she lost her phone. She must have dropped it on public transportation. And the girl decided it was a sign to start a new life. She did not restore her SIM card, but got a new one. In principle, it was even convenient. Now only those, whom she herself wished to hear, knew her new number. Harry was not on that list. 3 weeks later, Lily felt ill. At work, she practically fainted. She thought it was the stress. The next morning she woke up with a bout of nausea. That's when she realized it was pregnancy. For 3 days Lily walked around wondering what she was going to do. Finally, she decided that she was going to have the baby. It didn't even matter to her that it was from the man she loved. How could one have a baby from a traitor? Never. And where would she go after the hospital with the baby? To a rented room in a dormitory or to her mother, in the district center? Mom was definitely not an option. Lily had an idea of her reaction. If Betty found out, she would be very angry. She was ashamed. And it didn't matter that her daughter was an adult, educated, working. For the mother, the main thing was her reputation, and in this case, Lily would have ruined everything. And bringing a child into a rented room would have been reckless. Today she was living here, and tomorrow she might be asked to move out. Yes, she had no way out, but the first problem was that the women's clinic in Lily's neighborhood was under renovation, and all patients were sent to a nearby hospital. That's where Aunt Ruby worked. She certainly didn't want an appointment with her. Fortunately, Lily had an appointment with another doctor. But she did met Ruby. "What are you doing here?" asked Ruby. "I'm here for a routine checkup," Lily replied shyly. "I see." Ruby looked at her carefully. "That's right, you should watch your health." They chatted for a while. Ruby asked about her mother, about work, and invited her to visit. At this point, they parted ways. Though they lived in the same city, they rarely saw each other. They all had things to do. The young doctor at the reception was surprised when Lily talked about abortion. She even tried to lecture her on the subject, but the girl didn't care. She had already made up her mind. The doctor, with a sigh, prescribed the necessary referrals for an examination before the surgery. Lily was on her way out of the consultation when her phone rang. "Get back here right away," said Ruby's voice sternly. Ruby didn't ask, she demanded. Lily decided it was better to do as she said. The girl understood why Ruby had such a tone. It's only lip service to doctor-patient confidentiality. Clearly, as soon as Lily left the office, Ruby found out from her colleague why her niece had come. But she is no longer a child and can make her own decisions. Lily wanted to tell Ruby to stay out of her personal life. She wanted to figure things out for herself. "Come in," Ruby said with her hand when she saw Lily. "Let's talk while I don't have patience." "What's there to talk about?" Lily walked in and closed the doors tightly. "Things worked out the way they did." "And you decided to solve all the problems at once?" Ruby grinned sadly. "My girl, look at me. Is this what I have at my 48 years old? An apartment? Yes, I was able to buy one. A car, I also have. I had 2 husbands. Do you know why they ran away from me? Because I couldn't give birth. That's the kind of doctor I am. All my life I've been watching pregnant women, but I can't do it myself. And it's all my fault." "Why?" "I was about your age when I got pregnant. Just graduated from college, residency, an invitation to work in a decent place. And I decided I had time to have another baby. Especially since the father of the child was just a passing romance. I did not want to be a single mother. So I had a miscarriage, the only one. And that's it. After that I never got pregnant again. I went to a lot of different places for treatment. But all I have now is my cat. You want to spend your evenings with your cat, too? No, I'm not complaining. I love my cat, but this is not the life I wish for anyone, much less my own niece. Auntie, where would I go with him if I gave birth? I don't even have my own apartment. Move in with me, I have a spacious apartment, enough room for everyone. And my mother? What will she say? Mom will fight, of course, a little, and then she will be the happiest grandmother in the world," smiled Ruby. "Honey, do not do such reckless things. Especially, maybe you'll still make up with the baby's father. Have a fight with him?" "You guessed it," answered Lily dejectedly. "I don't know what to do." "Have the baby," Ruby exclaimed confidently. "You just don't have any other options. Lily, it's lucky you were able to get pregnant at that weight. And if you interrupt now, you will have problems with hormones. And that's the extra weight again." "Is weight really the point?" replied Lily sadly. "It's the child of a man who betrayed me after all the good I've done him. It's your child first and foremost, and forget all your good deeds. People can be so ungrateful that there's no point in being sad about it. Lily, believe me, a child is happiness anyway. Which one of us is the psychologist?" "I am," grinned Lily. "As for the others, I can tell and guide, too. But I don't understand anything in this life myself." Ruby hugged her niece, said many more encouraging words, and gave her the keys to her apartment. Lily came out of the counseling session with very different thoughts in her head. Yes, her aunt was right, it was Lily's baby and hers alone. A week later, Betty came to town. Lily called her somehow and confronted her with the fact that she was about to become a grandmother. At first the woman was even happy, but when she realized that her daughter was expecting single mother status, she became very worried. She yelled at her and shamed her. "Lily, I've been working in school for 25 years, teaching kids intelligence, talking about moral values. And now what do you get? I have a daughter without a husband. Lily, they'll laugh at me in our village." "And you don't pay attention," advised Lily. "What do you have to do with it? It's my life, my choice." "Daughter, but I raised you." "And raised well, by the way, mother," Lily replied sincerely. You're still making fun of me. No, it was definitely Ruby who influenced your choice. She was supposed to help you, but she only made it worse with her words. She told me you're living with her now. I do, and I'm very happy with Aunt Ruby. Well, I'll come and see you soon, Betty promised threateningly. Therefore, she met her daughter and her sister. Once again, at first she screamed, then she cried. Then the three girls cried, remembering their grandmother's cottage in the village and that very birch tree. Yes, a lot has happened during all this time, and in the hustle and bustle, the main thing began to be forgotten. When there are difficulties in the family, we all have to stick together. And it does not matter what people around us will say or what they will think. The main thing is to be with your family in this difficult time. And then they can do it. Betty beckoned Lily to come home with her. No, I'm not going, Lily refused. I'm used to the city, there's a hospital here, and pharmacies, and a good kindergarten. But you won't live at Ruby's forever. I have a 2-bedroom apartment, enough room for everyone. And what makes you think that Lily will live alone forever? She'll meet her happily ever after. She's already with child. I know it won't be easy. Mother, don't start, Lily stopped her, you're programming me to fail again. Come on, daughter, I only wish you happiness. I'm just worried a lot. And you worry silently, Ruby advised, we have a terrible habit of thinking things are bad. Things will be different for Lily. Anyway, Lily found support from the people closest to her. Lily tried not to think about Harry. But, as luck would have it, she dreamed about him. Sometimes she thought she saw him in the street, but it was strangers and young people. Lily persisted in forcing herself to forget about him. Time passed, and when Lily was 4 months pregnant, she had to leave her job. Their department was disbanded, and she was asked to commute to the other side of town. It was very hard. And that's where Aunt Ruby helped. She got the girl a job as a receptionist in their counseling office. Lily was very happy. It was much easier for her to work with women than with teenagers. The kids already had a grudge against life. Lily sometimes didn't even know what to expect from them. Of course, such work was temporary. However, her aunt had already arranged for Lily to take a job as a psychologist in one school in the future. I don't want to work in my profession, the girl admitted. And what will you do, wondered Ruby. No, niece, I will certainly help you while the baby is small. Mama won't quit either. And then what? You have to think about the future. And I am thinking. I'm going to take a cooking course. Cooking classes, laughed Ruby, so the childhood dream doesn't go away? It doesn't go away. Yes, I have a college degree, like my mother wanted. You've already found me a job for the future, but this is my life, and can I at least try to accomplish what I want? Okay, my aunt agreed, we'll see in time. In the meantime, the most important thing for you is to have a healthy baby. Time passed. On schedule, Lily gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The baby looked very much like her mother, blue-eyed, with red wavy hair. Lily enjoyed her motherhood. Aunt Ruby would prompt, and if anything, her mother would come over. Attention was enough. All day long, Lily was in the apartment. While my daughter slept, Lily did the monotonous chores at home. One day Lily got bored. She found a cooking blog on the internet and wondered. She wanted to start her own, too. Aunt's kitchen is nice, the dishes are great. While Mary slept, she would cook something and then they would eat it all together with the same Aunt Ruby. Lily told Ruby about her idea. She liked it. She immediately offered to stock up on the right foods, family recipes began to come to mind. Do you remember the pancakes my grandmother used to make? Smiled Ruby, very tasty. It's a pity that I rarely got to the countryside in recent years. You and your mom had better luck. Exactly, Lily agreed, Grandma's pancakes are a masterpiece. I bake, of course, but a little different. There's something missing in them. Probably Grandma's care, her warmth. Look, here's your first meal, pancakes. So a few years passed. Mary was already going to kindergarten. Lily was looking for cooking classes for herself. One day, an older woman she didn't know wrote to her blog. She had long been among her subscribers, but had never commented on anything. "Hello, Lily," Alice wrote, "I've been following your work since the beginning and see how professionally and with heart you cook. I would like to offer you a job. The fact is that I own a chain of restaurants in the capital. Our menu is dominated by Russian cuisine. I have long been looking for someone who could cook such dishes. Exactly the way they are supposed to be cooked. Now we are in need of an assistant chef. I would like to offer you this position. In the beginning, with a trial period, of course. If you live up to my expectations, then on a permanent basis. It's not a problem that you don't have a place to live in the capital. We have a service apartment. I can lend it to you for a while. And then you'll get the hang of it, and you'll be able to solve this problem on your own. The salary is decent." At the end of the letter was written the amount Lily would be paid, and the phone number of this Alice. Lily at first thought it was someone's silly prank, but she searched the internet for information about the restaurant and its owner and realized it was serious. She really was called to work in the capital. Lily decided to call her. A pleasant female voice answered, "Alice, this is Lily. You wrote to me." The girl timidly began the conversation.
Ah.
"Lily," the woman exclaimed cheerfully, "how good of you to call. And what will you answer me?" "I agree, but the thing is, I have a 3-year-old daughter and I don't have a professional chef's education." "The courses are not a problem, you can take additional courses," reassured her Alice, "and the daughter is good. Only at first it will be difficult for you with her alone. And you could not leave the girl with the family, at least for 6 months, while you yourself settle down. And then, please, move. Mother and daughter need to be together, I understand. If we work together, you can easily afford to hire a nanny, for example. But you have to get used to it yourself in the beginning." "Yes, you're right," said Lily thoughtfully. "I'll think about it and get back to you." "I look forward to hearing from you," Alice replied. Before evening, Lily was confused. Yes, she had been so excited about this letter from the capital at the beginning, and now it turned out that she had to leave her daughter behind. How could it be? She could not be without her, and neither could Mary. They are like one, after all. She can, Ruby told her firmly when Lily recounted her conversation with the restaurateur. "I can take care of Mary, and you go to the capital and don't worry about a thing." You have to admit, offers like that don't come along very often. The first time, Lily confirmed. "Exactly. And you'd be doing a foolish thing if you decided to stay here now. Lily, you can always come back here." And they seemed to agree with her aunt, but when her mother found out about the whole thing, she took the opposite view again. Betty was against this trip. She expected deception everywhere. "A normal woman would never abandon her child," she shouted. "Mother, I don't abandon," Lily said resentfully. "Do you think it's easy for me? Please understand me. I found my calling. And here's the chance. If it's Mary I'm thinking of, about her future. If I can stay in the capital, she will have a new life, too. I have raised a terrible daughter. All right, do what you want, but I won't leave Mary to Ruby. She's my granddaughter first and foremost. I'll come and get her one of these days," and Betty passed out. Ruby was very upset when she learned of Betty's decision. She even argued with her sister when she arrived. They all loved their little girl very much. Then they made a decision. Mary lives with Betty and they go to visit Ruby. "And you go to your capital," Betty said a little skeptically at the end. Lily was grateful to her most family women. Both her aunt and her mother were worried about her in their own ways, and both were willing to take care of Mary. All in all, Lily left for the capital reassured. She knew that her daughter would be all right. The capital greeted Lily with noise and bustle. She felt like she was in a big anthill. Where to go? It was her first time in the capital. But kind people told her how to get to the right address. And there she was, standing in front of a building with a stylish sign. It was the very restaurant Alice had invited her to. When she stepped inside, she was shocked. This place was clearly not for people with average incomes. Lily had never been to such a restaurant before. In fact, how often had she been in a restaurant? Only once for a corporate event. But in that place, everything was simple. And here, mirrors, parquet, tables with expensive tablecloths. And how do you cook for those who come here? It's not going to be like that anyway. Creating in her own kitchen is one thing, but she's not likely to do it here. Would you like to dine? A young guy in a waiter's uniform approached her. Please come in and make yourself comfortable. No, Lily smiled bewilderedly, imagining how much at least a cup of tea costs here. I'd like to see the hostess, Alice. She invited me in for a chat. I'm Lily. I'll let her know now. Soon the waiter returned and invited her to follow him. Lily walked timidly, looking around. It was a real palace. At the oak door they stopped. In the spacious office Lily saw Alice. She was a woman in her 60s, neat hair, understated style of dress. She made a favorable impression. Lily, she smiled at the girl and pointed to a chair nearby. Come in. Would you like some tea? No, thank you, Lily was embarrassed. How modest you are, the hostess grinned. All right, let's talk business. Alice first questioned Lily about her life, her daughter, her former job. You're a psychologist, but you wanted to be a chef? She wondered. Surprising, but a fact. My mother wanted me to have a college degree, and I've wanted to cook all my life. Well, I'll help you make your dream a reality. You can work in the kitchen and show yourself off. I probably shouldn't have promised you the job of assistant chef. You'll just work as a chef. If you can, you'll stay with us. Is that all right? Yes, of course. Lily, to be honest, was happy to be a simple cook. Assistant chef is such a responsibility, especially since she didn't know anything about this restaurant yet. The health book is in order, that's good. I remember about the accommodations. Alice stood up with difficulty, leaned on her cane, walked over to the safe, and pulled out the key. Let's do the paperwork now, and my driver will take you to your apartment. It's close by. Make yourself comfortable, rest, and I'll expect you at work tomorrow morning. You should be here by 6 o'clock in the morning. Lily nodded in agreement. Thus began her new life. The service apartment was small, but quite comfortable. It had everything she needed to live. Lily fell into a deep sleep because she was very tired after the trip. The next morning she was already in the kitchen. Yes, everything here was impressive, the appliances, the utensils, the work, and the staff. Everyone worked quickly, and she especially admired Chef Sam. A huge man in his 50s with a loud voice. He made everything quick and easy himself, and he didn't let the others sit idle. Lily was diligently slicing, blanching, and stewing. Sam only looked formidable, but in fact he turned out to be a very soulful man. When Lily was lost in new tasks, he was quick to prompt her. So you learned everything from us yourself? He smiled. Alice likes to look for those. But don't get too excited about the future. There were 3 of them here before you, but they were quickly fired. Not even a month went by. Alice takes it easy, but she kicks them out just as easily. She's tough. And there's no way we can do it any other way. Why is she walking so hard? Is she sick? Lily asked boldly. No, that's different. A few years ago her son and fiancé were killed in an accident. She was badly hurt, but she survived. Now the restaurant is the meaning of her life. We have 2 other small restaurants, and all of them Alice clearly runs. A strong woman, Lily agreed. Yes, she's also a good person, demanding, but fair. So try harder. But Lily was not fired. After her probationary period, she was hired permanently. She started getting a good paycheck, and she liked the restaurant staff. In her spare time she attended courses. And most importantly, Lily herself did not notice how all her extra pounds were gone. She also lost some weight after giving birth, and after arriving in the capital with her new job, her weight suddenly came back to normal. She was slim and very pretty. Sam even joked about the young woman. Supposedly Lily breaks all the stereotypes about how a cook should be fat himself. But, of course, he was just joking, and Lily was laughing herself. What a silly woman she is. She used to be afraid that she would get completely fat if she became a chef, and it turned out to be just the opposite. Everything was fine, only her longing for her little girl lived in her heart. It had been 6 months since they had lived apart. Then, after a year, Lily was able to rent an apartment. She chose one that was close to her job and a daycare center. In the near future, she planned to move Mary there. So one day she decided to talk to the landlady. "Alice, can I have a week or 2 off?" she asked Lily timidly. "Why?" the hostess genuinely wondered. "Are you tired?" "That's not the point. Do you remember that I told you I have a daughter? I want to move her here. We've been apart for a year, and it's unbearable." "That's right," Alice agreed, "the baby should grow up with his mother. You just have to find a daycare beforehand, because our work can be irregular." "I've already found one," rejoiced Lily, "so you'll let me go?" "Of course," agreed the hostess. Mom was very happy when she saw Lily. She complimented her on how great she looked. But when she learned of her purpose for coming, she became a little sad. "So, will you take Mary now?" she asked Betty with a sigh. "How could I not?" wondered Lily. "Mother, I think about her every second. I can no longer, especially now I have a place to live, the salary is good." "Mommy, don't worry. You'll come to us or we'll come to you. I'm on my own now. At least Ruby has a cat. Maybe I should get a cat, too." "Why not?" laughed Lily, a good mother after all, nagging a little, but still the best. The two of them went to the nursery for Mary. The children were just in the playground. When they saw Betty, Mary ran to her, shouting, "Grandma's here." Then suddenly she froze, noticing some woman nearby. "Mama," the girl said softly. "My daughter," said Lily tearfully. "Yes, I am mother. Have you forgotten me? Come to me, darling." She sat down and held out her arms to Mary. The girl ran to her, silently wrapped her arms around Lily's neck, clasped her whole body, and it seemed that no force could tear her away. So they went home, Lily with her daughter in her arms, and Betty. A day later, Lily and Mary left. Of course there were many difficulties in the beginning. Mary was having a hard time getting used to the new group at the kindergarten, to the new conditions, to the nanny, to the late arrivals of her tired mother. But soon everyone got used to it. Mom and daughter lived quite happily in the big city. 2 years passed. During that time Lily became an assistant chef. Sam was little by little preparing her for her place. He had health problems and was about to retire in the near future. Alice was happy with Lily's work. Everything was going well for her. Except there was no personal life at all. But she didn't want a relationship, she'd been burned too badly in the past. Did she think about Harry? She had, though she tried to avoid it. He probably lived somewhere around here and didn't even know he had a daughter. How was he doing? Has he finally recovered? Probably married to that other Lily. The young woman banished these thoughts, but it was as if they were returning to her mind. Lily didn't know what to do about it. One day an Ivy, a waitress, came into the kitchen and announced that the guests demanded a chef. To praise or scold, learned Sam, frying zucchini. They want to thank. Why should I go? The chef grinned. Lily cooked. Let her go. Me, confused Lily. Oh, how unexpected. That's okay, it's time to get used to it, laughed Sam. Go get your well-deserved bonus. And say what? You'll figure it out, the chef replied to her. You just make sure you invite them back to our restaurant. Of course, replied Lily with a laugh, and she and Ivy walked out into the hall. Come to table 3, the waitress indicated. Lily went, thinking up a response as she went, and when she reached the table, she froze. Joseph and Florence, Harry's parents, were sitting there. It had been 7 years since they had last seen each other, but they hadn't changed much. Only Florence looked a little tired. Joseph had turned a little gray. "Hello," she said in a stifled voice, "I'm Lily, the assistant chef. Do you have any comments about the dish? I cooked it. It was wonderful. We thank you, you gave us an unforgettable taste experience." "I'm glad you enjoyed it," Lily nodded modestly. "We look forward to seeing you again at our restaurant." "Now we will be your regulars and look forward to more masterpieces from you," Joseph pronounced. He spoke, while he himself regarded the girl piercingly. He felt as if they knew each other. Those eyes, the voice, the strange sensation. And Florence looked thoughtfully at this slim, short girl in a white robe and cap. "Excuse me," Florence ventured to ask, "haven't we met before?" Lily was quiet for a second. She had nothing to hide. Harry's parents are good people, they certainly hadn't done anything wrong, and it wouldn't hurt them to know that they had a granddaughter. "Dated," she replied calmly, "I'm the same Lily who was with your son when he was sick." "That's right," Florence wondered, and I wondered, where have I seen you? You've changed so much, Lily. You've gotten prettier, well done. Yes, I am, the girl grinned, and I also have a daughter, your granddaughter, and I'm not telling you this to ask you for anything. I just want you to know. And so does Harry. Florence and Joseph couldn't say anything. Lily turned around and went into the kitchen. Her hands were shaking. Why had she said that? Lily forcefully began kneading the dough for the dumplings. 5 minutes later, Ivy reappeared in the kitchen. "Lily, they're calling for you again." "Now you've charmed them," laughed Sam. "I'm not going," replied Lily sharply. Everyone in the kitchen froze. "I have to," confused Ivy, "what am I going to tell them? They'll start complaining." Lily went out into the hall for the second time. Florence and Joseph were visibly nervous. "Lily, you don't know much, we need to talk," the man said. "Please tell me when you have a chance." "I'll be free in an hour." "Good," Florence nodded agreeably, "we'll wait for you at the exit." Lily could tell by their tone that they felt some sort of guilt toward her. But they weren't guilty. Maybe they wanted to apologize for their son. She would have to listen. An hour later she left the restaurant. Near the establishment, on a bench, sat Florence and Joseph. They immediately stood up and walked over to Lily. "Let's just be quick," said Lily, "I have to get home to my daughter." "It's a long talk, why don't we drop you off and talk on the way," suggested Joseph. "No, we'd rather walk. I don't live far from here." "All right," Joseph agreed. The three of them walked along the sidewalk. Hurrying people, car horns, nothing stopped Lily from hearing the story Joseph told her. It turns out that when Harry was in trouble, Joseph learned very quickly that his son was lying to him. The father knew that his son was not driving the car. This was evidenced by the nature of the injuries. But Harry insisted on his truth. In order not to quarrel with their son at all, the parents pretended to believe him. The police closed the case, but Joseph continued his investigation. Very soon he came up with the very Lily who was responsible for his son's disability. He was very indignant when he saw her healthy and happy. She, it turns out, had abandoned her son and was living for her own pleasure with a rich man almost twice her age. Joseph was on his way to see Harry to talk frankly with him and persuade him to change his testimony. Why try to protect the one who threw him out of her life like a broken toy? She's guilty and needs to answer for what she did. What was his surprise when, upon arriving at his son's house, he saw another Lily. Florence knew all about it, too. But he and his wife pretended not to understand. Although the father thought his son was a complete fool. He excused the criminal and lied. But Florence convinced her husband to keep quiet. She understood that her son was saving the one he loved. Yes, she was mean, a liar, but he loved her. And this one, the other Lily, was so sweet, so pretty. They called her Pie. The parents realized that she was genuinely trying to help their son, and maybe even in love with him. Otherwise, why participate in this play? Florence convinces Joseph not to take any steps against the one their son is in love with. Maybe he, by playing, will forget himself, and something will work out with this Lily. His psyche was unstable after the accident, and any unnecessary action could hurt. Harry really thought of everything when he found a girl with the same name. And she's really not bad. Yes, from the country, with no money, but that didn't matter. They, too, were young and poor. Nevertheless, they were able to rise up. Now they could help their son, too. Joseph seemed to agree. Time passed. They were happy when Florence heard the news from her son. They were happy because of the good doctor Lily found who helped Harry start walking. It was a victory. Joseph decided to forget about the outlaw. But one day at one of his unofficial meetings, he met the very man with whom his son's first girlfriend was now having an affair. She, too, was there, smiling, even trying to seduce Joseph. Then he couldn't stand it. He told the man the whole truth about his companion. Joseph knew she was a criminal. The man listened, thanked him for the information, and then called a cab and ordered his companion to be taken to the train station, his hometown. He ordered her to go, telling her that he wanted nothing to do with such a mean girl. She both cried and begged, but he put her in the car, and then, already in her hometown, she was invited to the police and offered to confess everything frankly. She became nervous, confessed to nothing, ran to Harry, and begged him to forgive her. She promised to love him for life. But he didn't agree. Harry had another Lily at the time, pure and bright. The ex-girlfriend did go to prison for 2 years. And Harry loved you the whole time, Joseph said, ending his story. He went to the capital at the time because Florence had a heart attack. For more than a month, my son and I prayed that Florence would be saved. It worked out that way. Then Harry went to your town, looking for you. Your phone was unavailable, the organization you worked for had disbanded. He couldn't find you. Harry was very worried. So worried that one day I saw them in bed with another Lily, Lily remarked without holding back. What do you mean, wondered Joseph. He said some ridiculous situation came up. She came to his place in the afternoon, her clothes were dirty, and supposedly, the car had gotten her dirty. She asked for a shower. At that time he received a call from work, some urgent work needed to be done. A car was sent for him. So, she stayed in the apartment and Harry left for work. In his hurry, he forgot his phone. That's why he didn't call you. He was at work until morning, and when he got home, he found out you had come by. Harry got mad at his ex-girlfriend and chased her away. I don't believe it. It's too elaborate, Lily smiled. Our son told us everything afterwards. He was so remorseful about lying to us. Then he met you, and you changed his life, put him on his feet, literally and figuratively, Florence pronounced. Yes, there was that. Our boy, 2 Lilies, one a liar and one a real one. And both are gone. He never regretted the first one, and he still remembers you. How is he doing? Lily asked timidly. Fine, Joseph shrugged, working at my firm now. He's doing well. You found a good doctor. Thank you, Lily. Florence took her hand. Do you mind if we tell our son where you work? Why? He's probably married, Lily blushed. No. He lives with us. I think he still thinks about you. Lily nodded quietly in response. Yes, everything she had just heard was hard to believe. But could these people really lie? She had always liked Harry's parents, and they were no different now. They talked some more on the way. Joseph wondered why there had been such a drastic career change. I decided to follow my dream, Lily smiled. You did the right thing, Florence said, otherwise we wouldn't have met. I can't wait to see my granddaughter. Who do you have her with? With the nanny, she picked her up after kindergarten. Florence suddenly grabbed her heart. What, bad again? Asked a pale Joseph. I'm going to call an ambulance now. Don't. I only understand now. Joseph, we're going to the baby without presents. Is that allowed? Yes, indeed. Where's the toy store around here? Jesus, what toys? Laughed Lily, it's almost 10 p.m. But the mall is still open, Florence said stubbornly. Lily, tell us the address and we'll go into the store and then to your place. We'll literally just be 5 minutes. We'll just meet our granddaughter, that's all. May we? Sure, Lily smiled and told them her address. Just as Lily opened the apartment door, her daughter ran out of the room to her. Mommy's here, cried Mary excitedly, I missed you so much. Me too, my darling. The woman kissed her daughter and hugged her tightly. What did you and your nanny do today? After kindergarten we drew letters with her, went for a walk, the girl said. The babysitter came out of the room. Lily, can I go home? She asked. Yes, thank you, I'll walk you home. In the hallway, Nanny whispered something to Lily as Mary ran into the room. Mary got really hurt today at daycare. She cried. Why? They were talking to the kindergarten teacher about going to school soon. They were talking about what clothes they were going to wear, how Daddy and Mommy were going to take them to the first school line. And some boy told Mary that she doesn't have a daddy and no one will take her to the assembly because Mommy is always at work. After all, I mostly pick her up from daycare. I understand everything, but you need to spend more time with the girl. She's worried that she doesn't have a daddy. Yes, you're right, Lily sighed heavily, I'm always at work. I'll think about what you said. The door behind the nanny closed. Lily closed her eyes and shook her head. What did she need to do? So, her daughter wouldn't need anything. She would have to work hard. Mary doesn't have a daddy, but why? Maybe things would still work out in their lives. Then she remembered about the guests. She had to get her daughter ready for that. Mary, she exclaimed, we have guests coming over. Who? The girl shouted excitedly, Daddy. These are my old acquaintances, Florence and Joseph. We haven't seen each other in a long time and here we are meeting. Let's think about what we're going to treat them to. Pancakes, Mary suggested, you made them yesterday. They're in the refrigerator. Fresh would be better, of course. Let's heat them up and put some more candy and cookies in. Yes, let's. They began to get ready for the guests to arrive. More than half an hour had passed and they were gone. It was almost 10 o'clock. The daughter and her mother sat in the living room on the couch and waited in silence. Mom, where are the guests? The girl asked timidly. I don't know, they probably couldn't make it. And she thought to herself that Harry's parents had changed their minds, didn't want to look at their granddaughter. Almost immediately, the doorbell rang. They came, laughed Mary, and ran to open it. Wait. We have to look through the peephole. But Mary had already opened the door. On the threshold stood Harry. He was holding a huge teddy bear and a bouquet of roses. Who are you? Asked Mary gravely. And I'm your daddy, replied Harry, may I come in? Daddy, the girl shouted, I knew you were there. You came. She hugged the man. Lily stood leaning against the wall, unable to say anything from her confusion. Before her stood Harry, the man she had loved and then hated. This was the man they had absurdly broken up with. Or maybe her parents had made up that whole story. Harry kissed Mary and handed her the bear. The girl was pleased. Harry stepped toward Lily. Hello, sweetheart. How you look. Super, he said quietly, clutching the flowers in his hands, I never thought we'd ever meet again. And then my parents call, saying that you live in the capital, very close, and I do not know about it. And I have a daughter. Lily, as soon as I heard that, I ran straight to you. My parents told me the address. Nice bear, Lily smiled, and roses, too. These are for you. Thank you. Honestly, Mom and Dad bought it for me. It's embarrassing to say. I just wanted to see you. They were waiting for me in the driveway. I'm sorry, honey, I didn't mean to hurt you, I didn't mean to lose you. I don't blame you for anything. I know, Joseph told me. But I'm afraid, what if it's not true? And that girl in your apartment? Lily, I wasn't there. I just wanted to help her, and she was so mean once again. I was only in love with you then. I didn't need her, only you, and now I only need you. Harry kissed Lily's hand. Then he put his arm around her, and she put her head on his shoulder. That's how they stood. Oh, Lily suddenly came to her senses. What about Florence and Joseph? Are they still in the driveway? We should call them. Don't, Harry stopped her, they've already left. They said they were going to meet their granddaughter tomorrow. And they also said if you send me away, they won't let me go home either. What am I supposed to do? He looked at Lily with a smile. I won't chase you anywhere. And I won't give you away to anyone else. And they kissed. Mary laughed and clapped her hands. Mama, is it okay to kiss? You can, and when you love, you even have to. Come here, Harry replied. Picking his daughter up in his arms, he hugged Lily and the two of them kissed their daughter's ruddy cheeks. A month later, Lily and Harry were married, and he acknowledged Mary's paternity. The lovers moved into Harry's apartment, which had been empty for several years. Since he lived with his parents, he didn't want to go there. It was lonely there. Now everything had changed. There was children's laughter in the apartment, and the adults were happy. Florence and Joseph spent all their days with their granddaughter. Lily still worked in the restaurant. One day Alice summoned her. Lily, I have something serious to talk to you, the hostess said, and, with a slight wince, she sat down more comfortably in her chair. What's wrong? Replied Lily anxiously. Nothing serious, everything scary has already happened. Lily, I'm seriously ill, the trauma from the accident hasn't gone away. Now I have cancer. I don't have long to live. We have to get treatment. And there's nothing to be done. The doctors suggested an operation, but it will only prolong my agony. And I don't want to live like this. I have a question for you. Can you manage my restaurants? That's a strange question, Lily replied quietly, I'm a cook. I used to be one, too. It's so funny. I've worked all my life, and there's no one to leave my business to. You're the only one I have confidence in. But I'm not your daughter, not your sister. During this time you have become the most trustworthy person for me. I have faith that you can keep the restaurant up to a decent standard. And Chef Sam? He's the one who cooks me into his seat. Sam will find another candidate. I've already told him. So, are you okay with it? I'm afraid. Don't be afraid. Everything in this life is a lot easier than it looks, Alice smiled. This is how Lily remembered her for the rest of her life, with a smile on her face. It was in this unexpected way that Lily became the owner of a restaurant chain. Harry was shocked when he found out. Now my wife is a businesswoman. How am I supposed to love one of those? Tenderly, Lily quipped. Several more years passed. Lily successfully ran a restaurant business. Harry took over his father's firm, and he was doing well, too. Joseph decided to retire. Together with Florence, they traveled extensively. Mary went to school. Several times a year Betty and Ruby came to visit them. Mom and Aunt still can't believe their little girl got so lucky. But was it really just a fluke? Maybe. Or maybe someone upstairs had planned it all out long ago, and Lily was just on her way, toward her goal, toward her dream. That's not the end of our story. One autumn, sunny afternoon, a jeep drove down the broken road of a small village. It stopped at an old, abandoned house whose grounds were overgrown with grass. There it is, our home, Lily exclaimed cheerfully, stepping out of the car. She was a stylish, slender, young woman. Next came Betty, Ruby, and then out came a grown-up Mary. And why do we need this house? The girl didn't understand. Did we drive this far just to see it? Daughter, mother really wanted to come here, Harry explained. Mary, this is your great-grandmother's house. I was the same age when my mother and I went here. Do you remember, Mother? I remember everything, Betty smiled, looking thoughtfully at the walls blackened by time. This is where I grew up. There's nowhere without the homeland. I live in the capital, but I still want to come to my homeland. I've dreamed about it for so many years, said Lily inspirationally. Who's the owner here now? We have to buy my grandmother's house, and we will have a dacha here. We'll have tea outside. Oh, and the birch tree? Lily turned around confused and her eyes widened in surprise. She remembered the slender, thin birch tree. Now a powerful, sturdy tree spread its lush crown. Not a single leaf of it had yet fallen to the ground. Unfortunately, there was no more bench or table. The old apple tree had withered away, all overgrown with grass. Harry strode confidently to the door and picked the lock. Harry, what are you doing? What if the owners come? Frightened Lily. And we are the owners. What do you mean? And this is a surprise, love. You've told me many times about Grandma's house. So I got in touch with the owners a month ago. Now it's our country house. Daddy, you know how to surprise, replied Mary contentedly. Lily and Harry laughed and went into the house. And you learn and memorize, granddaughter, Ruby whispered. Learn what? How to build relationships. Your parents are good. They have such love. They understand each other and each is willing to give the other everything. By giving everything to the other, you get even more. But that only works with your special person. And how do you know he's special? Mary looked at Ruby confused. The heart will tell, Ruby winked. Well, shall we go? See where your great-grandmother lived, and then we'll eat pancakes outside. Mom made them. Inside was old plaster, torn away in places. The stove was in its original place. Even Grandma's furniture was still there. Ruby, Betty, and Lily got a little sad. Oh, even Grandma's trunk is still there, exclaimed Lily. She flipped open the lid and wondered. The crockery, the tea set they used to drink tea out of, the old pans, the plates nothing Ruby and Betty had taken away when they sold the house. The previous owners hadn't thrown it away. Apparently, they hadn't lived in the house much at all. Then, the whole company sat under the birch tree, ate pancakes, drank tea from old mugs from the service, and listened to the murmur of the golden leaves. What was the birch making noise about? About how everything in nature is cyclic and logical. Everything grows in spring. It is a time of mistakes, emotions, and passions. The main thing is to endure and not to lose yourself. It is important to preserve what is just emerging. Only then a new life will come. Spring gives way to summer. When everything is getting better, then it seems that all the good things will last forever. In the fall, you are responsible for your actions. That's it, then peace awaits everyone. One's life continues in children, grandchildren. But this cycle is governed by something greater. It is sincere love. It has been and always will be.
An amazing story, isn't it? Thank you for listening till the end. I sincerely hope that you truly enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate this video. See you in the comments and in new releases.